Hey, I'm Inigo and welcome to my channel. So today I wanted to do a quick video on 3 things that I've noticed since spending time in Finland and now living in Finland, which are basically around etiquette, etiquette on waiting. So the 3 different things. The first one is waiting at traffic lights. So what happens in Finland is if you need to cross a road, you go to the traffic lights, obviously, as you would anywhere. But if there's no cars coming and there's a red man on the lights, you just don't go. And you will only go if the light is green and it tells you that you can cross the road. But in England, especially in London, where I spent quite a lot of time, and it's where I was before I moved to Helsinki, people will cross regardless of what the light says. If there's no cars coming, they have a look, there's no cars coming, they're confident there's no cars coming, they'll cross, that's fine. And even in London, if there are cars coming but you feel like you've got a little bit of time to cross, people they'll go across the road and maybe get halfway through and they'll put their hand up to try and get the car to stop, and people will cross just like that. They'll just jump in front of cars, and it's the done thing. It's so common in London. And maybe because it's so congested and there's so many cars on the road that cars are never really going that fast anyway, so you can kind of stop a car. But yeah, here in Finland, people will just wait. You can look down the road, there's no cars coming, it's quiet, you can't even hear a car, you will wait. Like, that's just what people do. And even outside of Helsinki, I've seen this in kind of the countryside. If there's a red man on the lights, you do not cross, you just wait. Okay, so that's just how it is in Finland, and it's completely different. And then similarly, the next thing is escalators. So here in Finland, when you go on the escalator from top to bottom or bottom to top, you just go onto the side and you don't take any steps. You just wait until the escalator's done its job and you're at the top or at your bottom or at the bottom. And people obviously make room and they go to the side, and sometimes, the odd time, you'll see people kind of going on the other side and walking up or walking down, but it's very uncommon. And actually, interestingly, even if you're going down the escalators, where it's kind of easy to walk down, even though the escalator's going, you'll still just wait. You just allow the escalator to do its job. You take your time. You're not in a rush. You know, you just stand there. You just stand there, go onto the side. That's just how you do it in Finland. In England, again, particularly in London, people just run up them, they'll run down the escalators. Again, people move to the side, but a lot of the time in London, people, it's like they just don't have enough time. Like, they're late, they're just, everywhere they're going, they're late, and they don't have any time. So they're running up the escalators, they're running down the escalators. I think especially going down, it's quite common for people to walk. But in Finland, even if you're like the only person on the escalator and you're going down the escalator, people just don't walk. They wait until they get to the bottom of the escalator and then they leave, which again is completely different to England, and just kind of interesting. And then the last one, which is quite widespread in Finland, and I've seen it a little bit in England, but it's very uncommon, is having to get a ticket when you're waiting in line to kind of get to a reception desk or any kind of like a desk where you need to talk to someone or get some kind of service in person, face-to-face service. So I had to go to the bank, and when you go to the bank, you have to get a ticket. Not only do you get a ticket, but then you also wait in a line, but you need to get this ticket so that you can get to the front of the line when your number is called. And then the other thing is kind of in a doctor's office, so I had to go there. And again, you have to get a ticket. I think this is probably a bit more likely in England, but again, I've not had to use it. I could see it happening in a doctor's office, or maybe some kind of government building where you get lots of people that go in there and there's lots of queuing and waiting. But it's just really uncommon. Whereas here in Finland, it happens there. And the one that really kind of shocked me is going to the post office. So I had to go to the post office to drop off a parcel, and there was me and just one other guy, and we still had to get these tickets to get to the front of the post office queue to leave a parcel. And you would never see that in England. So in England, if you go to the post office, you just get into the queue, and if you leave the queue like halfway through, tough, you have to join the back. There's no tickets. I couldn't even imagine a ticket system being in place in a post office. But in Finland, everywhere you go, other than like a supermarket queue, it's the same as in England. But so many places in Finland, you have to get these tickets when you're queuing up for things. And it just, I guess all of these things combined, three things combined, kind of show how it's so different in Finland to the UK, and the attitudes around kind of waiting and being orderly are just so different. It's kind of like, yeah, in England that people just have no time, they're late, and that their time is kind of, yeah, like limited, and they've got to run and rush, and they have to be somewhere. Whereas in Finland, it's like they've got all the time in the world, time stood still, just chill, there's no panic or anything. Like in London, especially, you feel like, oh God, like I have to run as well. Like everyone's running, like, oh, I must be late too. It's like so contagious. If people are like, I mean, it's funny because I've picked up these things wherever I've been. So when I'm in London, I'll cross the road, even though the light's telling me I can't cross. And I think everyone in England will do that, or the majority of people. On escalators, I would always walk down escalators, and sometimes if I'm late, I'll walk up. But it's quite common to see people walking up. But now I'm in Finland, I just get on the escalator, let it do its job, and like it feels less pressure, and it's quite nice. And then I don't know how I feel about the tickets thing, but you know, I guess in a way it's fine, and I suppose it means that people can't jump in the front of a queue, and it's got a positive to it. I guess it's a little bit time consuming because you have to go get a ticket, but it's not a massive issue. But yeah, I guess that's kind of it really. Just kind of wanted to share the differences between etiquette. And I don't know if things are different in other countries, like outside of the UK and outside of Finland, if there are other countries that have similar kind of etiquette to what Finland has and what I've described in the video. So it'd be interesting if anyone lives in a country or has visited a country where that kind of etiquette also takes place, then leave a comment. But yeah, thanks for watching. Let me know what you think, and I hope to see you again soon.